We are continuing with lightning talks. And first on, it's Michael from Wales. Hello, Michael.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for this talk. And you will tell us about editing Silverstripe documentation, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. It's going to be a very basic lightning talk. So if I can just start the presentation
Yes, have fun on the
and
stage. Thank you.
find the link, I can have a look. Share the screen and share that. Okay, hopefully everybody can see that. Okay, so my talk today is one of the first of the lightning talks. It's a very basic talk about the Silverstripe CMS and how you can edit the documentation. It's come fairly clear over the last couple of days about people's opinions about the documentation. A little bit about me first. My first computer was a ZX Spectrum 48K, so it can show my age a little bit. But I only really got into software development much more recently, only about 3 years ago, where I was installing a package called RedCap in my previous company, and started to get into PHP software development. And I joined the company I'm working for now in South Wales, public sector company, in July 2021. So I only started as a full-time software developer 1 year ago. And that's where I found Silverstripe CMS. It was already an existing within the organization. So the agenda today is going to be a lightning talk, so it's not going to be too long. It's just going to go over to an overview of what the problem is and what we can do to try and fix that problem. The roundup from the 2020 community survey last year sums it up quite well, that there is a common thread that the resources we could do better. It's an open source project, and we encourage particularly the long-serving community members to share their knowledge and improve our docs. So probably the audience here are the Silverstripe lovers, the ones that thoroughly enjoy working with Silverstripe and have a lot of knowledge about it. Certainly I've joined some of the Slack channels, and there's a lot of people who are really happy to share their knowledge. So it's how do we capture that knowledge and put it in the documentation for everybody, the new people in particular. The requirements to edit documentations is pretty straightforward. A little bit of knowledge of Markdown. They're all written in a Markdown format. And you need a GitHub account. If you've got PHP Storm or VS Code, generally they have Markdown editors built in, or you can have a downloadable plugin to make Markdown easier to edit and to view. So I'm not going to do live coding. I'm not brave enough for that. I've taken some screenshots of how to do that. So this is a screenshot from a basic CMS docs page. And in the top right-hand corner, you can see an icon for GitHub. The icon will take you to the GitHub documentations for Silverstripe. So if I can get my highlighter pen out, pen. So here's the Silverstripe documentation. That's the main repo for Silverstripe. So by clicking on this particular link in the documentation, if you spot something that's not right, then you can click that link and it will take you to the Silverstripe repo. Version 4 is the current sort of master branch or main branch. Then it's a case of finding the documentation that you want to update, and it's in Docs, EN, whichever folder you were in, and then the name of the documentation, the file that you want to edit. And this file ends.md, which is a markdown file. Once you open that file, it's a case of clicking on Edit, and it opens as a standard editor. This is live on GitHub, and you can edit the document live. Once you've made the changes, it's a case of submitting those changes, scrolling down and submitting the changes you want to make. Those not familiar with Markdown, they form a human readable way of displaying text that can be easily converted into a HTML document. So it's one of the best resources to look at that is Learn X in Y Minutes Docs for Markdown. Once you're happy with the change that you made, so you've spotted something that doesn't look right in the docs, you've found that particular file on the repo, you've edited it, then you can preview it. Once you're happy with the preview, it's a case of scrolling all the way down to the bottom and filling in the proposed changes. For more details, you can fill in the option Extended Description, and then you can click the Proposed Changes button. And a pull request will automatically be created to Silverstripe for approval. It'll automatically create this pull request stage. And then it's a case then, once more, as you can see, it automatically creates a repository or fork of the repository on your personal GitHub account. And it will automatically create the branch so that you can create this particular pull request. And then it's a case then of actually creating the pull request. One of the important things to do once the pull request starts, all this Travis builds and scrutinizer builds will start automatically as part of the CI pipeline. One of the important things is to make sure that there are no conflicts. If there are conflicts, then it's a case of trying to resolve those conflicts, and it's increasing the complexity of what you want to do. There is documentation to do with contribution, and I would encourage anybody who's interested in doing any contributions to look over this documentation. It's going to be far more detailed than a 10-minute lightning talk. One of the tips as well is if you've previously pulled the Silverstripe framework and you have a copy in your repo, then it's important to check to make sure that your branch is up to date with the latest version before you do the next pull request. So as you can see here, I hadn't done one for a little while before doing this particular request. It's straightforward again. It's a case of fetch in upstream and then fetch and merge, and it will automatically do that for you. Okay, so hopefully that will encourage the people here who, if they spot a change in the documentation which isn't right, to go ahead and make a pull request and make it better, because as they said, it's the documentation is a part of the open source part of the repos, and anybody can make a change, and it still needs to be approved by the Silverstripe staff. And if there's any problems, then I would highly encourage people to speak to staff on the Slack channels. And there's a lot of people there who are very passionate about Silverstripe, and will be very helpful for you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much. That's great to have this talk. Everyone complains about documentation, but in reality, everyone can help to make it better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What being one of the newer members of the Silverstripe users, you know, I tried following the documentation, the new user guides, how to build an app from scratch and things, and yeah, at times it's quite painful. So you know, anything that we can do, you know, to improve those documentation. Especially for new users, you know, experienced users, probably the audience that we got here is probably the experienced users rather than new users. Then
yeah, but we have both. We have all kinds of users, and
yes,
so yeah, really great. We will hear more about what you are doing with Silverstripe tomorrow.
Yes, looking forward to that. That'll be a more detailed talk.
Yes.
So I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, accessibility and bilingual. So
yeah,
looking forward to that
Thank
tomorrow.
you for now. Thank you for this lightning talk.
Thank you very much.